Hey yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So in today's video of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I want to speak about 5 things during Inception that was boring that actually turned out to be pretty exciting near the end. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be the academy. Now there is so much packed into this school where on my first playthrough, I didn't get any of that experience. I never even went back to school. I kind of dropped out the moment that I got the freedom to go out there and explore Pokemon. Now, just like any other school, right, you don't want to be there. It's boring. It's hard to really get into it. And that's just a starting point. But once you begin to really dive in and you take these several different courses by several different teachers. Each one presents something different as far as a piece of information. Once you complete all of their courses, you begin to go into little side missions or quests with them that build relationships with the staff. And that's something that Pokemon is really good at doing, right? Especially in a series, is building relationships and bonds. And that's something that they've taken from the anime series and they've actually implemented into the game. And I really enjoy it for myself. Like, for example, the closer you get to the art teacher, you'll find out more about his background and where he comes from. And what's interesting about this lady that comes and visit him is that she's a relative of his, and you can find that relative along with 2 of her other sisters out in the map to battle them because they're like dragon trainers or something like that. But if you never really went through the school to get that relationship with this teacher, you would have no idea who these women are out there that you're battling who all have dragon type Pokemon. So let's take the history teacher, for example. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have found out that we have 4 doors that were chained and locked by the stakes that were placed in the ground in different areas of the map. She tells you about these Pokemon that are locked in there and asking and wishing for someone to actually set them free. And guess what? That person is you. So not only do you get a reward from her, but you also get a reward by defeating and capturing a Pokemon to use for your personal usage as well. And last but not least is that you get to discover new areas that's inside of the academy, like the courtyard that is on top of the building. If you ever see like the Pokeball and there's this like big mirrored glass right below it, this is where the courtyard is located. And up there they have like a Gyarados, there's a track, there's Pokemon battle areas, and you'll run into some teachers up there as well where you'll get conversations and other missions to help build a relationship. It's just things like that that just really surprised me because I didn't think the school had that much to offer, but I was wrong. Now, the next area I want to cover is picnics and sandwiches. And I have to give a shout out to my wife before I go any further because she was the one that actually taught me about these. I would not do picnics. I would not feed my Pokemon sandwiches. I wouldn't do anything with them besides battling. I didn't understand how important it was to build that bond with the Pokemon, clean your Pokemon, and also feed your Pokemon. And as you guys will learn when you were in school, they'll tell you even if you throw your Pokemon out to like walk with you and go places, that helps build the relationship as well. And that's crazy because I was literally thinking like what would be a better way that they could implement something to build a stronger bond with your Pokemon. And literally it was something that was taught in school and something that was already incorporated into the game, which was with picnics and feeding and cleaning and things of that sort. So not only is it enjoyable for the Pokemon to be able to rest, to play, and kind of just be kids, right, for what their mindset or mentality may be, but you also get to get battle perks as well. So when they enter into a battle, they'll actually hang on instead of dying without any type of special ability or item being held. They'll just hang in off of the fact that they care so much for you and they want to see you win. Now, just being honest, speaking more solo about the sandwich making, it's just fun. I'm just be honest with you. I thought it was like gimmicky and just garbage, but no, it's actually pretty interesting to make a sandwich, right? You get so many different variants of sandwiches in which you can make, and it's actually a good time. Not only that, but seeing the Pokemon eat them, whether it's hot or spicy or it's a very like calm or chilled sandwich, like it's just a nice little mellow addition to the game. So to be honest, I wouldn't even make a sandwich, right, for any reason until I came across this one situation where I was looking for a certain Pokemon. I said, look, I've been searching for a long time. I can't find them. And eating a fire sandwich, looking for Charmander, went from something like this to after eating the sandwich and it looking like this, right? I was kind of sold on that fact. So no matter where I was at, I was only eating sandwiches for whatever it was I was looking for in that area. So next up, trading Pokemon. At first, it was very uninteresting. It was just slow. I just thought like this is really going to be a bad time. But when I tell you we spend hours and hours just trading Pokemon, just seeing, you know, who she captured and that I didn't have and vice versa. It's also an easier way to fill up your Pokedex. Like I say, I know a lot of people already know this because they play the game a lot more than I have and do or whatever it is. But for somebody who's new, this is an enjoyment for me, right? So one other thing that we noticed was that the bios that were on Violet for the Pokemon was different than the bios that was on Scarlet. So if Haunter says something like he comes out at 12 a.m. and, you know, he eats berries off a tree, in hers it'd be like he has a dark, sinister spirit and he hunts the souls that come in his area. It was interesting to see how, you know, they were different stories that was told depending on which version of the game that you had. One I didn't expect to like, but absolutely fell in love with it. So next on my list is co-op. If you have somebody to play this game with, add this person or these people to your party. You're going to get a much better experience in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet playing cooperatively than you would be solo. Now, when I first started playing, I thought solo was the way to go until my wife joined in and we both started playing. Now, she's playing on the Switch 1, I'm playing on the Switch 2, so of course there's some lag that goes in between, right? Because I think it's just her older console. I can't confirm that because I haven't played with anybody on the Switch 2, but nonetheless, the overall experience of me and her playing together was one that I truly enjoyed rather than playing by myself. Now, before I get to the negatives, I want to speak about the positives of playing in co-op, right? Especially if you can have somebody who's going to role play with you and take advantage of those features that are basically at your hand to experience when you're playing with somebody else. Like one, you can have picnics together. Another thing that you can do is really take advantage of the camera feature, whether you guys are together or you're taking pictures of Pokemon or sightseeing and sharing the photos back and forth between each other. You can also be a spectator and watch them battle as you guys go out and collect Pokemon together. And if you're collecting them together, you really don't have to get involved in the trading feature because there's going to be basically the same Pokemon in the surrounding area. I enjoyed engaging in battles and looking to the side and seeing my wife cheer me on, or spectating her battles and being able to use the emotes or the facial expressions or just the cheer, the rah-rah or whatever it is that she finally finds her favorite Pokemon is able to capture them. It was just little things like this that just really brought the game home for me. Now, shifting over to the negatives, and there were quite a few, more than I would like to actually speak about, but I'm going to try to cover all of them. Like, one thing was the loading times from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, right? So once I would get into an area pretty quickly, she's still loading, but we know that that's just due to the hardware issue. Another problem that we found that may be the bigger issue out of all the cooperative experience play is the fact that there is no marker or HUD for your partner on the main screen. So as you're going around doing your tasks or whatever, it's easy to get lost or separated during your adventure or exploring. So to have that marker there for wherever your partner is located, you can simply just go to them rather than having to go to the map, find their location, set a pin in their destination, and then go to them that way. That was a little bit just, you know, unnecessary. So we want to make things easier and more simple going forward. So I hope to see these changes in Z to A. So now that I think about it, the biggest disappointment probably in co-op that you're going to go through isn't the HUD marker or anything like that. That was a big issue for location, but you really want to play cooperatively with your friends, and that's something that you can't do pertaining to the story mode. And it really shined for us when we went to go like fight the Titans or do gym battles. But even when we went down to ground zero and you had to run with Penny and Nimona or whatever her name is, and Arvin, they were the ones that were present there. You didn't get to experience your partner by your side. You got to run with them, you know, right next to you like your Pokemon would, but not your partner. Even though we were in the same party and linked up, she never showed up like at all during that whole time down in ground zero while we were in the story mode. And that was a trip for me for the main fact that they were doing team battles down there. So instead of partnering us up with Penny or Arvin, then you could have put the person that we were actually in a party with right next to us and we could have team battled that way. That was something that I really would have enjoyed more so than being partnered up with the AI. So like I said, in Zeta A, this is something I'm hoping to improve on moving forward. How they're going to do it, I don't know, but I think it's something that needs to be done to definitely bring out that better experience. Now, this brings us to our number 5, side missions. Now, normally I stop doing side missions because in modern day gaming, they're just not rewarding enough. And that's not an issue with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's great rewards, whether it's Pokemons or items that could be sold for a large amount of money at the shops. You will be rewarded for your search and your completion of side missions. Now, with that being said, there's one side mission that really stood out to me the most, and that is the side mission from the photographer located at Kitakami. This side mission story was so good that I actually thought it could have replaced the main story and still stood out and been dominant. That's just how good it was. So to just give you the capsulized version, she's looking for Ursaluna. And what's interesting about it is how you go about finding Ursaluna, right? It's not just about like, hey, go to this area and boom, we got it. No, you wait till nighttime. There's a fog that comes. She wants you to go out and take photos and pictures of, certain Pokemon doing certain things. And then after that, this bear appears. You get to battle Ursaluna, defeat Ursaluna, and also capture Ursaluna to put it in your regular roster of Pokemon and use it as you see fit. And then even on top of that, you get a Growlithe from Pokemon Arceus that's also added to your roster as well as a second reward for basically helping her out. So that's what I say, like these side missions were very rewarding. In the beginning, it may just seem like it's a little bit much, but every last one of them came with like great rewards and it was very, very satisfying in the end. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for me. These are my 5 things that were boring and actually ended up being exhilarating by the time that I was finished. In the comment section down below, let me know if you guys had a similar experience. What were some things that you weren't interested in pertaining to this game that you found to be interesting? Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm still trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know we can do it. I appreciate you guys coming and checking out the video. And with that being said, it's your boy, oh no, not another reviewer, and I'm out.